Hey everyone, it's Lindsay. Today I am back with another bag review. I'm not reviewing a purse this time, we're switching it up, and I'm going to be talking about the Beis mini weekender travel bag. So the body of this is jute canvas, and then the trim of it is vegan leather. But going into the bag, it's pretty massive to hold up, but they do have a side pocket here, and then they have a pocket that unzips at the bottom, and you can actually put this over the handle of your suitcase. And going into the bag, they have a key holder, and then they have a side zip up pocket, and then two open side pockets, and then they have a laptop big pocket over here. They also have shorter straps as well as a removable longer shoulder strap. So I did use this bag on a flight as my personal item a few months ago, and I also used this as my hospital bag when I just recently had my baby. So I have used this a couple times. I would say that this video is a little bit more of like a first impressions, but nonetheless, let's get into it. And as always with my review videos, we're going to talk about the pros and the cons, starting with the pros first. And the first pro that I have is that I love all the organization that comes with the bag. A lot of the bags that I used as my personal item when it came to trips were more of like that Longchamp bags where it's just the bag and there's no pockets to it. It's just very open. I got really tired of just using that. I feel like everything is all over the place, and I feel like with this bag I can organize way more easily. And especially with the trip that I went on using this bag, I had my daughter with me, and I knew that I was going to be putting some of her stuff in this bag, and I didn't want everything to be all over the place. So it was really nice that I was able to carry my stuff as well as her stuff. And I think that this is a really good option to have to stay organized, especially when you have kids. My favorite part of this bag is the bottom compartment here that you can unzip and store stuff in here, because usually on flights I like to pack an extra pair of clothes in my personal item just in case something happens. The next pro I would say is probably my favorite part of the bag, and it's the side pass-through pocket that you can go over your suitcase. I cannot tell you how many times in the past I would just like hook the handles of my travel personal item onto my carry-on backpack, and then it like falls off of the handle, and it just looks really awkward just wheeling it around. And at least with this one, it's a lot more secure and doesn't awkwardly fall off of your suitcase. It was just a game changer for me. I don't know how many like travel bags do that, but I feel like when I saw this, I'm like, that's genius. I need to have it because it hasn't really fallen off of my suitcase. And lastly, I just really like the design of the bag. I really like the color combination as well as just the overall like shape of it. It's a little bit more square as opposed to the more like rectangle bags. All right, and that was it for the pros. We are gonna move on to the cons, and the first con that I have is that I'm actually pretty mixed about the size. And I feel like it's a little bit contrasting to what I just said for my last pro. I do like the shape of it, but size wise, I feel like it's a good size where it's small enough to be a personal item, but I also feel like it's pretty big. And even though you can use it as a personal item, I did watch a lot of review videos before getting the bag, and I feel like storing it underneath the seat ahead of me on the airplane, I was a little bit nervous that this would be a little too big. Felt like I was able to store a lot in here, but at the same time on a flight I was a little bit nervous that this would be a little too big of a personal item, and I don't really know if it depends on the airlines. Unfortunately, I've only used this on one flight, and it was for United. I sat in economy. Also, sitting there and just stretching up my legs was a bit of a pain because this did take up quite a bit of space. Fortunately, we had my daughter with us, so we actually stored this underneath her seat because of course her feet didn't really touch the ground. So that was a little bit of a pain for me, but again, I do feel really mixed about this because you can store quite a bit in here. I did use this as my hospital bag. We were away for 4 days and I feel like I was able to pack all that I needed in this bag. So I do think that this is pretty good for like an overnight trip or a weekend trip. The next con that I have is that this is also kind of heavy, and I don't know, maybe this is my sign that I need to work out. So I don't really use the shoulder strap and just like walk and have this over my shoulders with stuff in here because I feel like it would just be such a pain to walk around with this because it gets pretty heavy. The next con that I have is the canvas material. I was really torn about getting this color because I do think it's really pretty, but I'm like, I know it's riskier getting it in a lighter shade. I actually really wanted to get this in black, but at the time, because I wanted to get this before my vacation, the black was completely sold out. I'm really surprised I didn't get this very dirty on the vacation, but there are a little bit of marks already. I think a little bit more to the leathery parts. Like there's a mark here on the bottom. It's hard for you guys to see. And there's some tiny parts of the strap that are peeling off, and there are just a few small threads coming loose. So again, that is just something to keep in mind when it comes to the quality of the bag. And the last con that I have is much more of my mistake, but I wish that the bottom fully unzipped. Now they actually have 2 versions of this bag on their site. There's the mini weekender bag and then there's the convertible mini weekender bag. The convertible one is where you can like fully unzip the bottom part so that this top part is much smaller and this is just completely separate, which I thought I bought, but I bought the one that it's still attached to this bag, so this doesn't completely separate it, but they look exactly the same on the website. So it's kind of frustrating because I did not realize that they were 2 completely separate bags. Truthfully, I feel like they should just have one version of the bag or just make it a lot more obvious that they're different, because I felt like there was a little bit of confusion, probably more on my part, but that was something I was like very, very disappointed about. But that was it for the pros and the cons. And do I regret getting this bag? Not really, even though there were more cons than pros. And I just feel like the 2 pros that I have of just being able to organize, as well as this like pass-through pocket. Again, I don't really know if all travel bags have this, but I just was really happy that this is part of the bag. I just feel like those 2 outweighed the cons that I have, and I really like using this. I just feel like it looks really chic and I feel less stressed organizing my personal items. And another pro is that even my mom wants to get these bags and she travels all the time because she thought this was really nice. But anyways, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it and found it helpful. If you did, please give this a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys, thanks for watching.